We are back for another Talk About It Tuesday. And today's question, I get a lot of different variations of this same question. So I'm going to make it plain. Doesn't matter what stage you're in, what age you are, the answer is pretty much the same. But listen to this. I am reaching the age where I have to withdraw from my 401k. I'm debating whether to find a new investment or pay off my student loan debt. I don't want to pay these people. What should I do? Okay, so nobody likes paying off a debt because what we borrowed the money for, the thrill is already gone. And if you're talking about student loan, the thrill of school or what you thought you were going to gain from it usually doesn't, match the feeling of having to pay the debt. So nobody likes to pay a debt, but you borrow the money. That's the agreement. So at some point you do have to pay them. The question is, when should you pay them? And what money should you use? So this is a person obviously going on to the age of 72 years old because you have to start withdrawing from a 401k at 72. So this is a 72-year-old person who is carrying student loan debt. And you're probably wondering how that happened. This person is a professional who has gone back to school multiple times with advanced degrees. So still carrying student loan debt, still working. So we look at a 401k as retirement money, right? That's the money we put away for retirement. And for someone to tell you that you should take that money you put aside for retirement to pay off a debt that you don't want to deal with, that you don't want to pay off at all because you didn't feel that you got the benefit of school that you thought you would, it hurts. Nobody likes to hear it. But the fact of the matter is, as long as you do not pay that debt, it is growing. So let's do some simple math here. If you were the lender, I would tell you to stretch this thing out as far as possible because the longer the debt lasts, the more the interest compounds, so the wealthier you would be. But now we got to flip that around. Now the longer you hold the debt, the longer you are indebted, the greater the interest is going to be compounded, which means that you're not getting wealthier. You are actually bleeding yourself into poverty over time. And the reason I say that is because what you were gaining in the same period of time on your 401k didn't match what you were, the interest you were accruing on the debt. And so to pull money out of the 401k and to look for a comparable, safe investment that gives you a steady return but still does not match the compounding growth of the interest on your debt is a waste of your money's time. The best use of your money's time is if you're going to pull that out, knock the debt out completely. And with the money you have left over, then you can now find an investment that grows and all the money is yours. And some of you are probably still confused, like, well, why can't you do both? Okay, doing both is like, let's say investment is a bucket. And you want to pour money in it, and over time that bucket, it fills up. The problem is when you have debt, you have a hole in the bottom. Now, if the investment hole, the top of the bucket, is far larger than the debt hole, because maybe it's a pinhole, then yes, you can still invest and fill up the bucket, and you'll lose a little at the bottom. It'll drip, 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 but you'll still net positive. The problem is most people have a situation where the investment hole is really tiny and the debt hole is really large. So anything you pour into it just flows out of the bottom and the net is negative, right? So if you have 10% interest on your debt and 5% return on your investment, that's a net negative. And so it doesn't make sense to put anything into the investment until you plug up that hole. Debt is the hole. Plug up the hole, and then everything you put in your bucket will just accumulate and rise and be yours. So nobody likes to hear it, but you borrow the money, you have to pay the money back. The longer you delay, the greater the debt grows, the more it offsets whatever gains you get on the other side, the more negative you start to become. So take the money that you have, and just this person is still working. Again, this person has other investments, and it's a 401k from a previous job. It has a couple of 401ks actually because this person actually worked on a few jobs. So it's not like they're going to be impoverished by paying a debt. It's not like they're going to be insolvent by paying a debt. They need to pay the debt so that they can start stacking everything on the positive side. So again, it doesn't feel good, but that's my answer. Before you find another investment, plug up the hole, pay the debt. So I'd love to hear your comments. Add some comments, add your suggestions. Maybe you have a different strategy you might use. I'd like to hear about that. Comment, like, share, but keep the questions coming, and I'll see you next Tuesday.